Good morning, Cambridge Isani High School. Welcome to Wednesday, May 13th. We welcome you to another great day of distance learning. We trust that it's going to be a positive experience for everyone. A little overcast, a little feeling a little bit chilly. Not feeling super like summer yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So hope everyone's doing well. Yesterday, the last few days, we've been visiting with some guests. On Monday, I had Mr. Solberg joining me to share some words of encouragement. Yesterday I had night lead custodian Denise Brackenberry, and today I'm kind of reaching into my history. A dear friend who is a national speaker, state speaker, does a lot of things around the state, and it's Mr. Jim Perry, Jim Walgram Live. Mr. Perry, hopefully we can jump in here. We're waiting for Mr. Perry to jump in. Here he is. Welcome, Mr. Perry. How are you?
Very good, Mr. Gibbs. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Give a little bit of a background as to who the heck I'm speaking with this morning. I've known Jim for about 8 years now. Jim and I worked together when I was serving in Stewartville as principal, and Jim created a program called the REACH program, which has gained I don't think it's unfair to say some national recognition, Jim, about the work that you do with social emotional health, making sure that we care as much about students as people. First and foremost, we care about them as people. We care about them growing as a person much more than we care about them growing as a student. We know that if we have the groundwork right, that everything else will take care of itself. So, Jim, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and why in the world would I be talking to you in a season of coronavirus and distance learning? Why would I be visiting with you and having our students or our learning community here at Cambridge Isani High School listen in this morning?
Right. So we've got students across the country right now that are all at home learning in a brand new way. So we have REACH here in Stewartville, as well as many other high schools across the state right now, and we all have the same goal, is to help us connect with students. And that's a little bit more difficult than distance learning. REACH actually stands for relationships, education, accountability, character, and hard work. And as teachers, we know we can deliver content online. That's actually the pretty easy part, but that's not what we really do. We are in the business of connecting with kids. And it's been a struggle. We're all tired. We're all ready to be done. We would all, as teachers and students, I think, rather be in front of each other face to face, making those connections.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you use the word tired, and I believe that everyone, whether you're an adult or a student, are absolutely drained right now because we've never learned this way. I was talking to someone and they kind of have the mentality of we just got to buck up and get through. And I said, well, I think we have to also understand where people are at emotionally and respect that, because sometimes I know I get drained, I get emotional. Jim, what words would you share with that person who feels like they're at the end of their rope? Because I know that I've felt that way often during this time. I know that I shared an article with our staff this weekend talking about grief and what stages we're going through because we've lost something. We've lost the ability to do this, connect. I'm talking to you virtually. Every meeting I've had has been virtual. Same with you. So what message would you give to our students or our staff or even the parents who feel like they're on their last leg and just can't do this anymore?
Right. Well, very first thing, we're all allowed to feel our own emotions. And my wife actually just brought that to my attention again, even though I know that. She re-brought that to my attention the other day. And no matter what emotion you're feeling, you are allowed to experience that. That is your emotion. You're allowed to work through that. I just saw an image today that talked about the emotions that we're feeling are there for a reason. They're indicating something to us, something about either our personality or our health or how we are struggling or how we are working through that struggle. The biggest thing is hope, to not give up hope. It's difficult when you don't see a finish line in sight. You know, for students now, they know what the last day of the school year is, but that's not good because we're going to be thinking about next fall and what that might look like. You're allowed to feel those emotions. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to feel frustrated. The biggest thing is keep hope. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to offer kindness to each other and understand that everyone is going through a rough time. And we keep hearing, we're in the same boat, we're in the same boat, we're in the same boat. But in reality, we're actually not. We are weathering the same storm from separate boats. We are all experiencing the same thing, but from slightly different perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. We were in a meeting yesterday, and our superintendent, Dr. Nate Rudolph, said we're not all in the same boat. We're all in our own boat, but we're all in the same storm. And so it's interesting that you brought that same thing up. Jim, if I'm a senior right now, I feel like I've had my heart just absolutely breaks. I went through the drive-thru at Caribou and I saw one of our students, and I got all teary just because it's hard to see our students right now and feel like they've had so much taken from them. And I used the word yesterday. I think our world and our society thinks the word, they say this is something the kids deserve. I like to say this is something the kids have earned. What message have you been sharing with your message with your kids there in Stewie, and what message would you recommend that our kids who are listening in, whether they're CI students or Stewie students, hear, especially for our seniors?
So I feel bad as well. I've got a senior here at home. When he first found out his band trip for this spring was canceled, he was angry, and he was allowed to feel that anger. Perseverance is really big right now, as well as acceptance. So the more struggle we have, the more opportunities that we have for personal growth. So right now, even though a lot of that stuff's taken away, we've been given an opportunity this spring for personal growth. There's been a lot of unexpected positives that have come out of this as well. Families getting closer, neighbors seeing neighbors that they've never met before, families out for walks in area parks. So even though there's a lot that has been taken away, we've also been given a lot right now as well. We have the opportunity to focus on the things that are really, really, really important to us, and to let go of some of that stuff that might not be quite as important. Even though there are things that have been taken away that we really want, that we don't have a choice. They're just gone. But it gives us also an opportunity to reflect on the importance of those things and get back to the real meaning of life. And that is to share of ourselves and to be kind to each other and to love people and to grow as an individual.
Yeah, that was an incredible message, Mr. Perry. I know that I heard a speaker this weekend say that they referred to this as the Great American Reset, and whatever that means. I took that very personally. I just started reflecting, and I'm not sure what that means to you or what that means to our listeners. But Mr. Perry, I know that you've got classes to get to. Our students begin learning here on at 9 o'clock, so they're getting going. But hey, I'm honored and blessed to call you a friend. Thank you for joining me this morning and sharing a message with our students. And we've been visiting with the Minnesota, I want to make sure I get it right, the Minnesota Human Rights Award winner this morning, Mr. Jim Perry, the REACH coordinator out of Stewartville. And Jim and I have worked together now for 8 years, a dear friend, someone who I turn to often when I needed some encouragement. And I thought he'd be a great one to reach out and share encouragement with our listeners this morning. So thanks for joining me, Jim. And you tell Jack I'm thinking and I'm thinking of him as a senior.
You're probably waking him up here now.
Have an awesome day.
I miss you.
I miss you too, my friend. We'll see ya.
Bye.